Hi, I'm Kris Roberson, Master Instructor for Best Incorporated. In this video, I will describe the major changes to the IPC A-620D as compared to the revision C of that same document. From the beginning, you'll notice one major change. The target conditions have all been removed from the document. This is in keeping with the trend started by other document committees in those coming revisions. The target condition for any inspected item is the goal. It's what we should strive to achieve with every step in the assembly process. However, it's not really a condition, as are the acceptable process indicator or defect criteria. The IPC inspection documents are useful as the bar against which all items are compared to ensure form, fit, and function of the assembly. As an assembly does not have to be perfect to perform correctly in its service environment. As long as it meets the minimum acceptable criteria, it's good to go. There are many editorial changes in the document which serve to clarify topics and correct typographical errors. One editorial change that's a welcome clarification has been made throughout the document. Many document users over the years have stumbled with the words lead and lead, especially users with English as a second language. Where the words tin lead, lead, or lead-free were used, they have all been changed to use the element abbreviations rather than the words. Tin becomes SN, lead becomes PB, and lead-free becomes PB-free. In section 1.5, the previous revision had a statement that was a little confusing. In Rev C document, it said where the word shall leads to a hardware defect for at least one class, the requirements for each class are in brackets next to the shall requirement. This statement did not clearly indicate that the word shall is not just for hardware defects. The word shall indicates that there is a requirement for any viewed condition. Revision D clarifies this by changing the statement to read, where the word shall indicates a requirement for at least one class, the requirements for each class are in brackets next to the shall requirement. This is a better reading of the explanation for the use of the bolded words shall and brackets, or bolded words shall not and the following brackets. The next technical change we find is in 1.7, where in revision C it was a requirement that the procurement documentation shall specify the order of precedence. Revision D has lessened that requirement to the procurement documentation should specify the order of precedence. This change leaves it to a negotiation between the customer and the manufacturer to determine what requirement or standard takes precedence. We have a newly defined term that's used throughout the revision D. Section 1.8.9 has the term engineering documentation. This gives the Rev D a less cluttered text. Previously, the much longer phrase contracts, assembly drawings, documentations, or purchase orders was used. The new phrase is much more encompassing and refers to any applicable documentation as specified by the customer. We move all the way to section 5.2.4 for our next technical change. A new section has been added here which adds criteria for stamped and formed closed barrel cutoff tabs. The criteria is much the same as the criteria for stamped and formed open barrel cutoff tabs. This new section adds the information that the tabs are also present on closed barrel contacts and cannot interfere with the form, fit, or function of the assembly. Jumping all the way to 10.3, we find a new section addressing overmolding and potting of flexible flat ribbon cables. The new figures in the document do a good job of giving visuals of this process. Individual cables or wires that are routed to a common connection point are molded into a flat ribbon cable. This adds strength and protection to the cable bundles. This section also addresses the potting of the connector used at the ends of these cables and the relationship between the potting and the securing hardware. A change to section 18 has removed the solderless wrap criteria from the 620 document. Acknowledging that the use of this technology still exists, the 620 committee now references the MIL standard 1130 for the solderless wrap criteria. Take a look throughout the document to see all the new figures and editorial changes, as well as the technical changes, to be sure your products will meet the latest in the IPC A-620 Revision D. I'm Kris Roberson. Thanks for watching.
Visit and follow us on our YouTube channel, Soldering Geek, for more videos. For training classes, supplies, and more, visit our website, www.solder.net.